Alright, before we get into this footage, let me set the stage for you. What you're about to watch is a classic example of a simple, peaceful audit turning into a confrontation because someone didn't understand public photography laws. This moment is exactly why filming in public is important. Because confusion, fear, and authority can mix fast. Stay with me, because this encounter unfolds in ways neither side expected.
Have you read that up somewhere, or?
Yes, your policy. Yeah.
Okay. Well, at the minute, we're obviously videoing everything because we've been called to an incident. Immediate response where there's some ongoing issue with payment, whether it's a domestic...
999?
Well, that's what's coming as, yeah.
Wow.
Well, we just didn't know what was happening. There was an altercation in the shop, so we've arrived on that instance. Are you going to give me your name?
I'm not, no.
Right, okay.
Because
Is there a reason for that?
Because it's a civil matter, and it's not something that the police can get involved in.
To a degree, you're right. It is a civil matter, but we can deal with it a different way. But obviously, ultimately, it's a civil issue. But if you're not willing to give us your details, then how do we know that you're going to resolve the civil issue at a later date? If you're happy to give us your details, then we can look at the civil issue at a later date.
But that's a civil issue. That's nothing for the police
to
get
involved in. But we don't know your details, do we? So you could technically escape from here and never come back and never deal with that issue. Then you'd be circulated as wanted for that, won't you, if you make an offer without payment?
That's not a police issue at the minute.
It is. It is a police issue because you've not paid for fuel. So there's still an offence there of that you've not paid.
Notice the officer's opening approach here. There's no calm inquiry, no attempt to understand what's happening. Instead, he arrives already assuming wrongdoing. This is where problems begin, when an officer leads with suspicion instead of clarity. Auditors know the law, but not every officer does, and that creates conflict instantly. This moment sets the tone for the entire interaction, and you're about to see how quickly things escalate just from misconception alone. Question for the audience. At this stage, who do you think is handling the situation better?
For your fuel.
But I have paid. I've gave them...
But you've gave them this coin, yeah, which ultimately they've spoke to the post office and they've decided that it's not a reasonable amount of payment for your fuel. So at the minute we're sort of hands are tied, yeah? Agree with you on a certain instance of that, but we still need to say that it doesn't really exist, you can't pay with that. No. He obviously won't give us our details. I've explained to him to a degree it's a civil matter. However, if he does make off and he doesn't give us our details, we're struggling for any sort of civil issue at a later date. Any details and make an offer about payment, yeah. So I've explained if he does give us his details and we know where he is and we can contact him at a later date, hopefully this issue can get resolved. No. He's obviously not really wanting to do that at the minute.
Because it's a civil issue and it's nothing for the police to get involved in.
But you're still going to make off, aren't you? Technically without payment, but if we can get your details...
But I have paid.
But you haven't...
And it is their policy to accept the £20 coin.
Has he paid? Policy? No, he hasn't.
Right, if you haven't paid, and if you walk out this door now...
They've still got the money though.
Just let me finish. If you walk out that door now, you are liable for an arrest.
Now this part is important. Listen closely to the officer asking why he's being filmed. Legally, the reason doesn't matter. Why is irrelevant. Public photography does not require justification. But when an officer starts demanding explanations instead of sticking to lawful authority, it exposes a lack of training. This is where many lawsuits begin. An officer pushing past what the law actually allows simply because they're uncomfortable being recorded. What do you think? Mistake or intimidation?
Is there any other way that you can pay? Because we're going to sit here for hours arguing. I've been quite respectful to you. I appreciate you have to a degree, and I appreciate that from yourself. You haven't been argumentative with me, and I appreciate that you've been a normal human being.
No,
however, we need
I don't intend to. No,
I know you appreciate that.
If you can pay for the fuel now by other means, then that's fair enough. It'll be the end of the matter.
Or if you can give us your details, and we can deal with it at a slow time, we can offer you that. But if you're not willing to do either any, then we're struggling with what we have left to do.
Because we can't let you walk out that door without paying. But
we don't know where you live. You might not even be from around here. I'm not saying you are, but you know what I mean. We have people where they'll make off and then they won't give us our details, and then we're going to struggle. I'm still going to have that £20 of fuel, unfortunately, with this BP garage outstanding.
Which car is it?
But I have paid for the fuel.
But you haven't paid for the fuel. Which one?
Right, we're going round in circles, aren't we?
We are, unfortunately, yeah. We've agreed, we've reasoned with you now, and we've tried to say that if you give us your details, just tell you where you live, we'll deal with it slow time. However, you then leave, you don't have your details, you don't know where you live, you could live in London for all we know, and then there's still this making off without payment because they will not accept this as payment.
But I don't have to identify for a civil issue.
It technically isn't a civil issue though, is it?
Here's where things take a turn. The officer steps closer, shifts his tone, and tries asserting control. That's a tactic we see often. using authority to pressure compliance where no compliance is legally required. But the camera doesn't lie, and the auditor stays calm. That calmness is key. When you understand your rights, you remove the officer's ability to escalate through intimidation. Watch how the power dynamic begins changing right here.
Oh, come in here.
Right, and was that today then, or?
No.
So when was that then? So you've contacted BP head office before you've come in?
Correct.
Right, so did you contact them today, or was it yesterday, or last week, or?
It's not up to me to say that.
How's it money?
Do you understand what the £20 coin is?
No, that's why I'm confused.
Well, why are you threatening me for arrest then, if you don't know?
Because it's not money.
It is.
Right. We'll agree to disagree. At the end
you don't know that. It is. It's
right.
Legal tender, the same as a £20 note and a £10 note.
Right, and who did you speak to from the BP garage, the manager?
It's a Royal Mint who issued that £20 coin.
Right. Okay.
So it's the same money as any other money.
If you get someone on the phone to me who you've spoken to earlier, then we could kind of end the matter here, can't we?
But if it's a civil issue, I don't need to assist you.
But at the minute we don't know it's a civil matter.
But I don't need to assist you in a civil issue.
But you do, because it then...
This moment is the peak of tension. The officer reaches for justification. Anything to regain control of the situation, but there's nothing he can actually enforce. No trespassing, no restricted area, no crime. And that's when his confidence starts slipping. You can always tell when an officer realizes they've overstepped. The questions get softer, the tone shifts, and suddenly they're just asking. This is where the audit effectively wins itself.
Failure to pay.
But then it'll be a civil. But then I'll sue you.
Well, that's fine. If you want to sue us, that's fine.
Unlawful arrest.
Like I said, we've been honest with you in terms of which way we can go. The staff here have been very honest. Okay, and all I'm saying is, if you get the person on the phone who you spoke to earlier with the agreement, then that could be the end of the matter. But as far as I do, then technically, if you walk out the door, it's going to be make without payment.
He's already accepted to take it.
You haven't accepted to take it. No, haven't accepted to take it. You walk out that door, becomes a criminal matter, and you get arrested for make off without payment.
You give us your details.
You're refusing to give us your details, and we don't know that vehicle is yours because you're not.
But I've told you.
Is it urgent?
That he said he would take the coin.
But he isn't.
If I take my mask off.
Right. Well, I wasn't here for that, so we have no witnesses, unfortunately, other than you and him. Right now, I can't view that.
Body camera.
But right now, I can't view that. At the end of the day, you've come in, you've paid.
Now here's a big red flag. The officer gestures toward the camera and questions the filming itself, as if recording is the problem. But public recording is completely lawful, even if officers dislike it. The moment they fixate on the camera instead of lawful authority, you know they're stepping outside proper procedure. This is exactly the kind of behavior that leads to complaints, investigations, and eventually the lawsuits we cover on this channel.
Your fuel, you've come in, this isn't a payable matter. Once you leave, we've offered you to give us your details and deal with it that way. For all I know, that vehicle could be registered to somebody else and lived in London. And how are we ever going to trace you?
But I don't need to assist you.
Once you leave this situation, it is making off without payment. I can't be any more reasonable with you and give you some sort of options that we can go with.
But I don't need to assist you.
Are you offering to give
because
the
you're
staff,
wrong.
not myself, not my colleague, the staff your name and contact number?
No.
Right, so we have one option but two will lock you up then.
Well, I've got a civil agreement in the background.
You can prove that at court.
That's fine, you can prove that at court.
Right, well this moment in time, you're currently under arrest for making off without payment. You don't have to say anything,
but I haven't made off.
We don't mention one question from the later line court. Anything you do is maybe given evidence.
But I haven't made off though.
For your arrest is prompted in fact of investigation. Okay?
But I haven't made off.
You're under caution, so
I do the fact that you failed to provide details.
But I haven't made off. But I haven't made off.
Right, are we going to go calmly?
Watch closely here. This is the exact moment the officer realizes he has no legal ground to stand on. His posture changes, the assertive tone disappears, and suddenly he's trying to exit the situation smoothly. That shift is always fascinating. When an officer overreaches and gets checked by someone who knows the law, they backtrack fast. This is a turning point where the encounter stops being confrontational and becomes uncomfortable for the officer.